Today I'd like to walk you through our resource planning and revenue forecasting app for Salesforce.com. The app stems out of a lot of our work with project-based businesses and some of their critiques of the limitations of Salesforce. Salesforce is great at allowing you to track the dollar value of an opportunity, but it's not particularly effective with project-based businesses because there's no elegant way to have a calendar-based view of your resources. And there's no clear way to take a deal and spread that revenue across multiple months without manually creating them. So what we've done is first and foremost create an interface for executives and business managers to drop right in and see their revenue forecast for all of their resources and projects and see it in multiple slices. So on a month level, they can look at what's booked, what's forecast, and what's long shot to get an all total. They can look at the same statistics on a quarterly basis or on an annualized basis. And then in that same view, at the bottom of the frame, we have our calendar, which lists all of our resources and all of our current projects. And this is a pretty information-dense view that we try to pull data from multiple objects. So I can see my resource, I can see my project, which then concatenates the customer or account, the opportunity, the resources status, are they part-time or full-time on that project, what's the total dollar value of the project, and then we use color coding, green for booked and sold work, dark blue for forecast, and light blue for a longer shot or less likely deal to close. And we can show multiple projects on any given resource or the same project on multiple resources if we want to. And then we have the ability to drill into any of these resource project allocations simply by clicking. A new browser window opens and it shows me the full detail behind this. If I wanted to go ahead and make an update, perhaps I'd like to indicate that this project is actually finishing in November instead of in December, and I will update the dollars accordingly. As soon as I've done that, a trigger will fire in Salesforce, and what you'll notice is that the underlying months associated with that opportunity have been updated, both in terms of their start and end date as well as in terms of the dollar amount for each of those months. So we're trying to add a level of automation that intelligently takes into account how most project-based businesses work. When I refresh my calendar view, I can now see the current end date for Jeff's project is in November instead of in December, and the dollar amount has been updated, and all of my individual relevant rows for month, quarter, and year have been updated. If I'd like to add a new resource assignment directly from this page, I can just click the New Assignment button, and I immediately navigate to a page that allows me to create one from scratch. If I go back to my project calendar, you can see that I also have some filter criteria available here so that I could narrow the scope of the resources I'm looking at by office or by status, whether or not they're available. This is just some subtlety that we try to introduce to make the calendar useful for managing large quantities of resources. And then, of course, across the top on the tabs, you'll notice that we have our standard objects, but we've also have the objects that underlie and make this calendar possible. So we have a projects object, which is just a running record of all of our projects, their budget, who they're associated with. We have a few pieces of metadata there, but we could store many more. And if I go ahead and click on the Resources tab, you can see that we have all of our individual resources tracked as well, and that's what allows us to surface them inside of the calendar. And that's a really quick introduction to the Madrona resource management app that we've built for Salesforce. I hope this was informative, and if you have an interest in learning more, please drop us a note at our website, madronasg.com. Thanks. Bye.